Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next lesson. Just a reminder that I originally developed this course for the Bangtan Academy Discord community, so if you'd like to find out more, please follow them on Twitter at BANGTAN Academy _, so you can get access to other materials and make friends to study with. You can also find me on Twitter at writer_court or on thebtseffect.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn Korean with BTS Chapter 12. Let's go ahead and get started on page 98. So, of course, scan that video and answer that first question. But as you can see, these words have to do with weather. So, weather is 날씨. So, I'm going to read these just in order. So, the first two at the top, 덥다, 춥다. So the first one is to be hot, and the second one is to be cold. Then below that, we have some more weather words that are a little more specific. So the first one, 따뜻하다, which means to be warm. 시원하다, which means to be cool. It can also mean to be refreshing. So if you drink something cold, you can also use this word for that. It's not just for weather. 날씨가 맑다, which means the weather is clear. 날씨가 흐리다, which means the weather is cloudy. 바람이 불다, which means the wind blows. Then we have 비가 오다 and 비가 내리다. These are two ways to say that it's raining. Same thing with 눈이 오다 and 눈이 내리다. These both mean the same thing, that it's snowing. And the last two, 비가 그치다, 눈이 그치다. That means that it stops raining or it stops snowing. Now moving on to page 100, we have our first conversation snippet as well as the next page with our first key expression. So now we are learning 고 있다 form, which is like the progressive form in English. So basically that's ing form. So this is used to describe an action that is taking place right now. So it means it's actively happening. So this is for action verbs. And please note that when you conjugate this, you are not conjugating the action verb. You are only conjugating ita for tense. So when you do, past tense or present tense or whatever, you're only doing that in ita. You're not doing that in the action verb itself. So the way you conjugate this is really simple. You just take off the ta from dictionary form and then add go to your verb stem and then ita, and then you conjugate the ita. So let's look at the example conversation. The first person says, 오늘 모노레일 타러 갈까? Which means, should we go ride the monorail today? And the second person responds, 하지만 지금 비가 오고 있어. Which means, but it's raining right now. So that's the active state. It's actually, they look outside and it's raining. So that's what this form expresses. And there you can see we have 비가 오다 for to rain. And then 오다 is, of course, the verb there. We take off 다, add 고, so we get 오고. And then 있다 gets conjugated. So this is 반말. So we just put 있어. So 오고 있어. On the next page, there are some example conjugations. So that first one, 웃다, which is to laugh or smile. To conjugate, take off 다, add 고, and then 있다. So 웃고 있다. The example sentence, 소피아가 웃고 있어요, which means Sophia is laughing or smiling. It can be used interchangeably. There is another way to say, like, smile, for example, but I've seen it used both ways. I tend to assume it means laugh, but it could technically be either. The next one, 배우다, so take off 다, add 고, 있다 for 배우고 있다. So it doesn't matter in this form when you conjugate, it doesn't matter if it ends in a consonant or a vowel, it's still going to be 고 있다. So the example sentence is 타말이 한국어를 배우고 있어요. And then the next example is 하다 verb, so 운전하다 for to drive, 운전하고 있다. The example sentence, 마르코가 운전하고 있어요, which means Marco is driving. And then that last part there is a conversation they show you on the bottom of page 101, which just showing you that you don't conjugate the action verb, you conjugate the tense into the ita part. So this one is in past tense. First person says, 어제 왜 전화 안 받았어요? which means why didn't you pick up my phone call yesterday? The second person responds, 아, 자고 있었어요. So there's that past tense, but it's in 있다 instead of 자다. So 자고 있었어요 means, oh, I was sleeping. 그래서 몰랐어요. So I didn't know that you called, is the implication. So this form is pretty simple. You don't have to worry about any irregulars. You just have to remember 고 있다. Moving on to the next key expression. This is the 지 마세요 form, which basically means to not do something. So its usage is that it's used to indicate something that's prohibited or something the listener shouldn't do. So you might see this if someone is trying to tell you what the rules of some place are. It might be listed in 지 마세요 form, or it could just be someone saying, don't do that to someone else. A more formal format of this that you will also sometimes see is 지 마십시오. So that's just a more formal way to say it, although 지 마세요 is also polite. That one's just more formal. So both of these are also fixed forms and they're really easy to conjugate. So 지 마세요 and 지 마십시오, you just have to remember those two spellings. So in the example sentence, the first person says, 지금 타세요, which means please get on now or you please ride it now. They're just telling them to get on the monorail. 모노레일 안에서 일어서지 마세요, which means inside the monorail, please don't stand up. So 일어서지 is the conjugation there. So it's from 일어서다, which means to stand up. So 일어서다, take off 다, add 지 to the verb stem, so we get 일어서지, and then 마세요, which stays the same. And the second person just responds, 네, 감사합니다. So here are some examples for conjugation. As you can see, it doesn't change, just like the 고 있다 form. This doesn't change for irregulars. So it's just verb stem plus 지 마세요. So 찍다, we get 찍지 마세요. Example sentence, 사진을 찍지 마세요, which means please don't take photos. 버리다, which means to throw away. 버리지 마세요. And then the example sentence, 여기에 쓰레기를 버리지 마세요, which means please don't throw your trash away here. I think the language pen might translate 쓰레기 as waste. So waste, trash, garbage, however you want to say it in English. And I think they translate 버리다 as to dump, which dump, throw away. It's kind of the same. So that sentence just means don't throw away your trash here. The next one is 사용하다 for to use. 사용하지 마세요. Example sentence, 영화관에서 휴대폰을 사용하지 마세요, which means please don't use your cell phone inside the theater. And then at the bottom of this page, they show you the more formal form. So 사진을 찍지 마세요 is polite and formal, but then the more formal is 사진을 찍지 마십시오. So that format was also pretty easy. So we're already moving on to the conversation. Both of these grammar points are pretty simple. So it shouldn't take too long. It's just a matter of memorizing the spelling and in what situations these things are used. So let's take a look at the conversation. The first person says, 오늘 모노레일 타러 갈까? Should we go ride the monorail today? 하지만 지금 비가 오고 있어. But it's raining right now. 괜찮아, 많이 안 와, which means that's okay. It's not going to rain a lot. So 많이 안 와 means a lot won't come. But in context, what that means is it's not going to rain a lot. Then the second part of the conversation, first person says, 몇 명이에요, which means how many people are you, like how many in your party. And the person responds, 두 명이에요, which means there's two of us. And then they say, 지금 타세요. 모노레일 안에서 일어서지 마세요. So please get on now, and please don't stand up inside the monorail. And then they just answer, 네, 감사합니다. Yes, thank you. So I'll read through that one more time. 오늘 모노레일 타려 갈까? 하지만 지금 비가 오고 있어. 괜찮아, 많이 안 와. 몇 명이에요? 두 명이에요. 지금 타세요. 모노레일 안에서 일어서지 마세요. 네, 감사합니다. So real quick, let's also look at the second conversation that's part of the exercises. This is on page 105. So we have these two people here talking about going outside and it raining right now. So the first person says, 해솔아, 너 옷이 왜 젖었어? Which means, 해솔, why are your clothes all wet? Because that 젖다 is like to be wet or soaked through when it rains. So 너 옷이 왜 젖었어? Why are your clothes all wet? 비가 많이 오고 있어. 지금 나가지 마. Which means right now it's raining a lot. And that second sentence is the informal way to say, please don't do something. So instead of, 마세요, which has the implied politeness level of like, please don't do this is just 반말. So it's just 지마. So 지금 나가지 마 is 반말 for don't go outside right now. Then the first person says, 에릭형하고 약속이 있어, which means I have a promise appointment. I have something scheduled with Eric. And then the other person responds, 그러면 우산을 꼭 가져가, which means then definitely take an umbrella with you. So that 가져가 is 가져가다. 가져가다 is a dictionary form. It means to take. So you're taking this thing with you wherever you're going. So 우산을 가져가 means take an umbrella with you. And that 꼭 just means, definitely or surely, you need to take this thing with you. So I'll read that one more time. 혜솔아, 너 옷이 왜 젖었어? 비가 많이 오고 있어. 지금 나가지 마. 에릭 형하고 약속이 있어. 그러면 우산을 꼭 가져가. So that's it for chapter 12, and we've finished book 2. So I will see you in the supplementary lecture and then back again for book 3.